7 components of business financial intelligence. These 7 components of business financial intelligence are interdependent and can actually provide a much more balanced, healthy, and sustainable scoreboard to measure an organization's success. Number 1, the customer. We have to start with the customer. It's almost as if the customer is the trunk of the tree, and the other 6 components are just the fruit that fall from the tree when we serve our customers well. Of course, organizations sometimes call their customers clients or students or even colleagues, as we have internal customers as well as external customers. I suggest there are 3 levels of service we provide to our customers: satisfy, exceed, and anticipate. At best, we must anticipate our customer needs. In my mind, the next few components are explicitly inside the business. They're really internal measures of how well we're serving our customers and how well we're managing the organization. So, number 2, cash flow. We know there are 3 types of cash flow: operating, investing, and financing. We know that cash flows both ways and that we need positive operating cash flow. We must have more cash coming in than cash going out. Now remember that an outflow of cash under investing activities is not a bad sign, as we may sell that investment at some point in the future for more than what we paid for it. Likewise, a negative cash flow in financing activities is also not a bad thing. Why? Because we may well have paid down debt or done a stock buyback, both of which are financing activities. We know there are 3 levels of profit if we're a manufacturing or a retail business. Those 3 are gross, operating, and net profit. Service businesses don't calculate gross profit as they don't have a cost of goods sold. Why? Because they don't have inventory. So whereas manufacturing creates products to sell, retailers just sell those products which they call inventory, and a service business essentially is selling time. We must ensure we have profitable relationships with our customers, meaning the income we derive from serving them with products and services is greater than the expenses used in the process, else we won't be in business much longer. Productivity. Productivity is also an internal measure that your customer only cares about when it impacts them. For example, how quickly they receive your product or service from the moment they place the order. Productivity is measured in a myriad of ways depending on the organization, but essentially I found there's always a numerator and a denominator. The business is attempting to measure inputs to outputs. So we spoke about cash flow, profit, and productivity. So here's the 4th component: growth. Growth is most commonly measured as top line growth, i.e. revenue growth, bottom line growth, i.e. net profit growth, and earnings per share growth, most commonly for publicly traded companies. But remember, privately held companies too can have a notional calculation of an earnings per share. If we're not growing in today's highly competitive and global marketplace, we're actually going backwards in real terms. Our customers want us to grow. Our investors expect growth. Our employees, you'll find, are much more engaged when we're growing. Number 6, teams. We've all heard the phrase, money makes the world go round, and yet I believe teams make all of this go around. It's teams of people working effectively and efficiently together who serve the customers and each other as internal customers. It's teams of people who help make the cash flow positive and who help to make the enterprise profitable. People are often the numerator within productivity measurements, and people are crucial to help ensure that we're growing. Number 7, community. A community can be defined in many ways, but basically it's the concept of giving back. I'm no philosopher, but I think I've read enough and seen enough to realize that organizations who do well over time seem to give back to others. My word of caution here is to choose a cause that's acceptable to all the organization and avoid the risk of getting behind a political or social cause which may mean a lot to some but not to others. You could also say the investors have their own community. That's the investing community. In summary, I've just found that these 7 components can provide a much more balanced scoreboard for measuring an organization's success rather than just the bottom line of net profit. I've seen how these 7 components can sustain success over time. I'd suggest in summary that 4 of the measurements are primarily internal measurements, cash flow, profit, productivity and growth, whereas 2 are primarily external, being customers and community. And ultimately, it's teams of people who make all of this happen.